So, welcome to another fascinating conversation about quantum minimalism. This is a part of the Quantum Living series that I started a few weeks ago. And so far, we have covered quantum decluttering, and we have also done an introduction about this Quantum Living series and what they are all about. And in that introduction session, I really dove into the quantum physics principles and the law of attraction and all the things that are going to help us look at every area of our lives from this different angle, from this quantum angle. So if you missed any of those sessions, there are recordings available and you can find them in past episodes of my podcast. Okay, and the podcast name is Your Thriving Lifestyle. So today we're going to be talking about quantum minimalism. And this session is going to be similar to the last one that we did about quantum decluttering, but I really wanted to do the quantum minimalism because minimalism is a very trendy word. Many times people have a lot of meaning to that word and what that evokes in them. And I want to look at minimalism today from the point of view of energy, vibration, embodiment, not only from the physical aspect of it. So, first of all, I would like to really share about and really get to know from you, what does minimalism mean to you? So when I say, if I were to ask you, can you define minimalism for me? Like, what would you say? What is your definition about minimalism? What comes up for you when you hear the word minimalism? That's also a very powerful question, because some people may feel liberation, simplicity, calmness, opportunities, and some other people may feel I'm gonna be limited, I'm gonna be obligated to let go of things I love, so it's gonna feel constricting. So what is it for you? So Maria says, not just having what you want, but wanting what you have. Amazing. So not just having what you want, but wanting what you have. That's a nice definition, Maria. Any other definitions that you guys come up, or any emotions that you notice in yourself when you hear the word minimalism? Because this is really the first step before we get started with exploring how to apply minimalism or how to look at minimalism from this energetic point of view. We need to really assess where we are at and what that word represents for us, the meaning that we give it, and any resistance that we may be feeling or any excitement that we may be feeling. It's very important to really connect with that, because that is the angle that I want to approach today. How do you feel? What is your energy when you are talking about minimalism? Peta says, I like the idea of having just what you need in the present, but myself rebels against that every time. Beautiful, Peta. So you like the idea of having just what you need in the present, but yourself rebels against that every time. So just curiosity there, right? Like, why is that happening? And what are the beliefs or the definitions or the meanings that you have associated to having just what you need in the present moment? And what does it mean if you don't honor that? So yeah, lots of curiosity in there, because there is not a right or wrong approach here. Remember, guys, that from a quantum perspective, from the law of attraction, from understanding that the universe is 100% abundant in whatever you choose to be abundant in. So you can choose to be abundant in having what you love. You can also choose to be abundant in having a lot of resistance to things coming to you if you are focusing on that energetically. So that's why it's so important to understand that if the universe is always saying yes to anything that you are asking, consciously or unconsciously, if you are asking for something that you want, you're going to guess a yes, 100% yes on that. But if you are focusing on what you don't like, you're going to get more of that too. So that's why alignment is really important, and we can use this these things that we discover to create the contrast and the clarity that we need, so that then we can really focus on what we want rather than staying stuck in what's not feeling good, or what's feeling stagnant, or what's not working. Okay, so very important. So let me see. So Sally says, minimalism means I am not overstimulated by clutter. Amazing. So you are not overstimulated. You are not feeling a lot. You are feeling a little bit more peaceful. So Sally, for you, what will be, because you said you are not feeling overstimulated, so what are you feeling? And this is a very clear example of, if your mind is going to, I am not feeling overstimulated, I want you to create the affirmation instead. I want you to really create, so what is it that you are receiving, rather than, if you are not overstimulated, so what are you? And then really focus on that and embody that energy. Peta says, trauma response, comfort in clutter. Amazing. Yeah, so Peta, so there is some comfort in clutter for you, and it's really good that you are aware of it. And this is always your decision, right? What do you do with that awareness? If there is comfort in clutter, what is that comfort offering you? Because there is always a motivation why we choose to do, to behave, to keep what we do. And that is because consciously or unconsciously, we are motivated to choose the option that feels less scary, safer. Sometimes the option that we understand. And sometimes the idea of possibility of something better to come, it's too scary for us to let go of what we have, even though we no longer want that. And that is the process of letting go. And that is the process to surrender. And that is the process of trusting and having faith and really believing in the universe, in yourself, in a new possibility that is better than what you have, even though it's not there yet, even though you cannot see it. And this is very important, because from a quantum perspective, outcome doesn't come first. So the outcome is not a result. Let me say this properly, because I think I'm messing up. So you have to change first your energy levels, so that then the outside will change, reflecting that. So you don't have to wait for the outside to change or to become what you want, so that you can become that, or you can feel that, or you can experience that. Is the opposite. So that's why from a quantum perspective, it's very difficult because we don't see any evidence of the change that we are doing inside of us sometimes. And then there is a really good thing that I was listening in a podcast the other day. Is like the change sometimes is not what you see outside of you. It's how you change the reaction to the same event that is happening outside of you. So that's how you can tell if you are changing. So if the outside, for example, is clutter, and every time you look at the clutter, you are feeling something and you are having a reaction, okay? When you change inside of you and you get aligned and you get clear on what you truly want and you change your energy, it doesn't matter that the outside, there is still clutter there, but you have changed your relationship and your reaction with that physical clutter. And that is the first step, because after that, you are going to deal with that clutter completely differently. So very important here. So let me see what else. So Becca says, minimalism for me is a constant process of unburdening from excess energy that doesn't serve me. Yeah, so letting go of energy that doesn't serve you. That's a beautiful way of, it's a very quantum perspective, right? Because if everything is energy, even physical things, emotions, if we treat everything as energy, then it's really good to understand that you are letting go of energy. Can be energetic, can be physical energy, can be social energy, can be emotional energy, can be any kind of energy, really. So what else? LJ says, I want to become more comfortable with the concept. The minimalist homes I have seen feel cold. I want to declutter but have things that feel personal on display as well. So LJ, that's a beautiful reflection, right? So you are facing you're looking at minimalism from the angle of tiny houses, how they look like, and how some people have expressed minimalism. And I want you guys to look at minimalism and understand that minimalism is a concept and a philosophy that can be expressed in so many different ways. And it can be really aligned with who you are. And the journey of minimalism is, as Becca was saying, to unburden energy that you no longer want, that is no longer serving you. And then realign with the person that you are in this present moment. And then when you can align with that, everything else is going to be a reflection of that alignment. And remember, this is a moment to moment experience. So sometimes you may change from moment to moment. Sometimes that moment can be weeks, months, years of you having the same kind of space. And sometimes that can change a lot of times because you are changing a lot. And you are changing what you do. You are changing what you are deciding to feel. You are changing how you entertain, maybe socially. Maybe your family is changing, growing, getting smaller. And then it's always an evolution of letting go of what no longer serves you and you don't need, and then allowing for what you need in this moment to come into your life. And that is the minimalism journey. So I don't want you to look at minimalism from the angle of how many things do I have, or how many things I don't have, or how many hobbies I can have or I cannot have. This is an expression that is going to be unique for each of you. And I have some definitions here that I want to share too. But I really, really wanted to hear what you guys wanted to share. Yeah, finding balance in how much I surround myself with. Yeah, exactly, Peta. That's the balance, right? You want to find balance with how much what you have around you, right? What you surround yourself with. And that is the clarity, that is the alignment, that is the balance that I am talking about. And remember that quantum physics, from this quantum perspective, if everything exists in the here and in the now, and its infinite amounts of possibility exist here and now, you really don't have to let go or acquire things, or you just become something, you step into a different reality, right? And a parallel reality that is you in the reality that you want. And how do you connect with that? By you changing your energy, your vibration, and then you will match energetically that new reality. And some people say that we change realities millions of times per second, but we just don't realize that. So again, we are looking at this from a very quantum perspective. So it's just interesting to look at things from this perspective, because everything really changes and the meaning that we give to things change, and our relationship with things and energy change too. So let me share with you some definitions of minimalism so that you may resonate with. So for example, some traditional minimalism says the intentional promotion of what matters most. So intentional promotion of what matters most for you in this moment. Removing distractions to create clarity. So the process of letting go of what no longer serves you so that what you need is there, so that you can be more clear about what you want. Prioritizing presence, simplicity, and quality. That's another definition. So you want to prioritize being present, simplicity, and quality. And simplicity and quality will mean something different for each of you. Okay? It depends where you are at. It depends what kind of hobbies you want to do. It depends on so many things. So you don't have to limit yourself here. You can be a minimalist with hobbies. You can be a minimalist traveling on a backpack. You can be a minimalist having a big home with lots of things inside, if those things feel aligned and with you, with the version of you that you are choosing to live. Another one is living with purpose rather than excess. Okay? So these are some traditional, and then let's look at some quantum minimalism kind of definitions that are more energetic. Okay? So one of them is a recalibration of your frequency through your environment. So a recalibration of your frequency, of your vibration, of your energy field through your environment. So this is a very physical kind of look at it, but sometimes you can recalibrate your energy by changing your environment and by decluttering, physically speaking. Um, Removing energetic noise that distorts your signal. So again, a very energetic description, but this is really good. So removing any energetic noise so that is distorting your true signal, your true frequency. And this can apply to, if we think about physical belongings and things having energy, so energy surrounding you constantly. The more things you have, the more experiences you have, the more you do, the more energy you are surrounding yourself with. And sometimes that can be overwhelming for some people. So another one is creating coherence between your identity, intentions, and space. So that's a really nice one because it's mixing identity with intentions with a physical space and how that kind of plays with each other, right? So how you create coherence, create alignment, create balance, create harmony. I mean, you can use whatever word you want, but you are trying to create that resonance that really resonates with who you are in this present moment. And then making space for expansion, possibility, and alignment. Okay? So those are some quantum definitions about minimalism. So Peta Brooks says, honestly, I think if I ever became minimalist, it will be in a parallel universe, Emilio. So Peta, so from the quantum perspective, okay, things happen for you, not to you. So if you are experiencing a reality where maybe you are experiencing physical clutter, or you are experiencing that you are going through the experience of discovering what that is for you, then you are creating the illusion of time through this lifetime so that you can experience what it feels like to live with that clutter, so that you can experience the journey of discovering who you are, learning how to let go, learning how to trust. So maybe you just have to go through that, and that is your journey. So if everything happens for you, and we have to look at all the situations that are happening in our lives with a good point of view, then everything is perfect. Everything is happening in divine timing. And we just have to keep looking at, how is this serving me? What am I learning from this? How is this journey exciting? What am I learning from it? How am I changing thanks to this? And then if you look from this perspective, you may not need to, you will be able to accept things more easily. You will be able to have more patience. You will understand that even though maybe now you don't understand why this is happening for you, but you still maintain the curiosity, you still maintain the presence, you still keep discovering things you don't like and then transforming them into, what is it that I like instead? And the journey is always helping you polish yourself. It's helping you discover your identity, your true self in every moment. So it's just interesting looking at life from this perspective. Something that may feel negative and burdensome and heavy, all of a sudden it becomes a journey towards something that, if this experience wasn't happening, you wouldn't get there. So just some ideas. So I would like to share what abundance is, right? Because sometimes we want to be abundant, but sometimes thinking about minimalism and abundance can be like, well, but I cannot be both at the same time, right? Because if I'm a minimalist, I cannot have a lot of things, so I cannot be abundant, and vice versa. And I really would like to bring some definitions of abundance. First of all, let me read this comment from Tammy. So I have had to rebuild my life from the ground up several times in my life. I have also had numerous painful losses. Now I find myself overwhelmed emotionally and mentally at the thought of decluttering associated with more loss. Yeah. But I know I will feel better with a simple home. Yeah, Tammy, I have a section that I'm going to be covering that is going to be touching on that. So it's going to probably resonate a lot with what you are saying. Okay? So just be patient with me and let me just define. Well, guys, what does abundance mean to you? What is the definition of abundance in your mind? If you have to tell someone being abundant means what? I'm curious to know before I share the definitions I found, because it's so important to really understand what abundance means, to really understand what minimalism means to you, and how you feel when you say that word out loud, because sometimes we have conflicting emotions, right? So let me see. Means choose carefully. Okay, so true, Emilio. I am unboxing after move and still in this new home unboxing, and so happy to see objects which made my history and personality. Abundance is for me the richness of friendship, rich life without money, feeling lucky with small things. It's just interesting, right? The richness of friendship, rich life without money, feeling lucky with small things. So for Terry, for example, money is not in the definition of being abundant, right? That's what I'm understanding. So any other definitions or any other feelings that you guys receive from abundance? Because remember, quantum physics and the law of attraction, for example, they say that the universe is infinite. It's 100% abundant in anything that you ask, anything that you want, and anything that you embody. Energetically speaking, you're gonna get more of that. So what are you being abundant in? So abundance is being prepared, having enough to cater to for my needs and wants, surrounded by people, places, things I love. Having enough, having plenty. Yeah, amazing. Abundance to me is receiving more than I have asked for. Amazing. That's a nice definition too. Receiving more than what you have asked for. Amazing. So let me share some definitions that I found here. So for example, there is this one. Abundance is the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Okay, abundance is your ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And this is from Bouchard. And then another spiritual view is abundance equals trust, sufficiency, and flow. A quantum view, abundance is an energy signature of openness, coherence, and receptivity. And then minimalism supports abundance by removing resistance, clutter, and contraction. So remember, the quantum view of abundance it's an energy signature, so it's an embodiment, it's a vibration of openness, coherence, and receptivity. So then why minimalism matters energetically when we are looking at this, right? Because your environment, physically, emotionally, socially, mirrors your inner state, okay? So what you see outside of you, it's a reflection of what you feel. Basically, the energy that you see in the quantum field around you, it is a reflection, it is resonance with the energy that you are vibrating at, okay? So this says that you are 100% responsible of what you are creating in your life. And sometimes that is very difficult to accept, but that's what the quantum physics says, right? You are 100% creating your reality, and nothing is an accident. Nothing happens because of luck. Everything is synchronistically orchestrated for you. Objects hold emotional, historical, and energetic imprints. Okay, so all the physical surroundings, all the physical objects, all your belongings, they hold emotional, historical, and energetic imprints that you are affected by, that you are impacted by. Clutter creates fragmentation in the nervous system. Okay, so remember, if what's outside is a reflection of what's inside, when you see clutter, that means that your inner state feels the same way. It's the same kind of energy. And again, this doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It's just what it is in that present moment. And sometimes we will see why sometimes this is helpful and this is necessary, right? And this is actually positive. A clear environment equals clear intuition, clear choices, and clear energy. Okay? And then one of the tools that I always talk about when we talk about energy is the vibrational and emotional scale. Okay, this is something that I really recommend that you find it, you print it, and you have it, and you look at it every time that you are feeling something strong. I want you to really resonate with this, to really look at this, and to really understand that this is a scale. And sometimes you just have to be step by step. You cannot jump into joy and happiness right away if you are feeling grief, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling sadness. It's very difficult to jump into joy right away, but there are so many different vibrations that you can go through. For example, in low vibrations, there is overwhelm, there is guilt, there is shame, there is fear, and then clutter reinforces these emotions, right? Clutter reinforces this vibration, this energetic surrounding. Mid vibration is frustration, is doubt, is confusion. And this is where most people start the decluttering process. And then high vibration is clarity, it's acceptance, it's empowerment, it's joy. And then minimalism can open space for all those things to happen, right? So minimalism is the journey. From a quantum perspective, minimalism is the energetic journey that you are taking from going to a low vibration when you are feeling overwhelmed, you are feeling fear, you are facing a resistance, you are facing a limiting belief, you are feeling stuck, you are feeling overwhelmed. So slowly you start jumping up the scale, right? Maybe you are completely frozen and overwhelmed. From there, you start feeling frustrated. That is better than feeling overwhelmed because now you are frustrated. It's a different kind of energy. And then from there, you move into confusion. And then you are feeling doubt, but you are getting started moving the wheel, right? You are energetically increasing your vibration slowly. And then all of a sudden you get this rush of motivation and clarity, and you discover something that feels good to you, and then you take action on that. And then boom, change starts to happen, and then your energy shifts too at the same time. So yeah, very powerful stuff, right? That's why it's important to be present with what is with you right now and to really accept where you are at right now. Because if everything is happening for us, there is something there for us to learn. There is something that we have to do with what's happening. And that is not avoiding it. That is not negating it. That is not running away from it. It's the opposite. It's embracing it. It's accepting it. It's being curious about it. Okay? So some recaps. Overwhelm equals too many old timelines active at once. So remember, if we think from a quantum perspective that there are lots of parallel realities happening at the same time and we are kind of jumping from them, if we are not aligned, if we have too many old timelines active at once, you can say old identities, old versions of yourself, old energetic attachments to things from the past that no longer serve you. So if you don't let go of that, you cannot fully connect with the new reality, with the new dimension, with the new space that you want to create, because your energy is fragmented. And remember, present, past, so past and future in reality, from a quantum perspective, it doesn't exist. Everything is here and now. We create the illusion of past and present so that we can experience something. Okay, this is like a movie. When the director is making a movie, the movie already exists. All the frames, all the videos, everything exists here and now. The director is choosing what kind of sequences he or she is going to create so that it can deliver an experience. So when you watch the movie, you are going through an experience that has a past, a present, a future, and there is like a timeline that if it wasn't there, you wouldn't receive that experience. So imagine that life is kind of something similar, right? So yeah, your body is trying to leap into a higher version of you, okay? But the environment still holds the old frequency. So this is what, when I was talking on how important it was to change inside first, and even though you may not see a change outside yet, but if you notice a change in how you are reacting to that, that's already a change, an energetic change that is going to have a ripple effect in everything else outside of you. Uh, so your body is trying to leap into a higher version of you, into a different frequency, different from what you are in the past, but you are not letting go of the past, or everything around you is kind of reminding you and kind of dragging you back to that reality. And again, it's not good or bad, it's just a different reality. And you have to be the one who makes the choice. Do I want to stay here, or do I want to go there? Or do I want to try something different? And being between them just makes you feel fragmented and makes physical clutter appear. And sometimes that is also necessary because you are in a transition. And sometimes things don't happen overnight. And sometimes transitions are messy, chaotic. And to be honest, if you are not stepping into something that you don't understand, if you are not stepping into a reality that scares you a little bit, that you don't know how to be in that reality, most likely you are not really changing. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel scared, right? So when you truly change and you step into something different, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna feel like, I have no idea what this is. It's not familiar. I don't know how to behave here. But that's where trust needs to be. That's where surrendering to the process and trusting and doing your best one step at a time is so important. And that's when all the past is gonna creep in the form of energetic attachments, fear, who are you to do that, limiting beliefs, memories, etc., etc. So that's why this is a very energetic. Sometimes it's like a battle. You are battling with the past, with other frequencies, so that you can step into new frequencies. And there is this kind of war. There is this kind of it's basically a decision. You are really having your intention from being focused in so many different places into focusing into what you truly want and really ignoring the rest. There is such a thing as positive ignoring. And sometimes this is you choosing not to connect with that because it no longer serves you, and you are choosing to put all your energy and attention into what you truly want. So some practical tools, guys, about how to put this into action, right? So start extremely small. That's one, right? Start with what's available for you right now and get started there. Don't try to do everything all at once. Don't try to understand everything and every step of the way right now. Just take another step forward. And this is like crossing a river. How many of you have crossed a river? And then it's a wide river, but there are lots of stepping stones. And if you are on one side of the river and you are looking at the stepping stones and you are trying to map out what you are going to do to get to the other side, it may be overwhelming and maybe you will never get started. But if you trust and you get started and you step to the next one and then you see another one, you step there, and then you see another one, you step there, and eventually you will get to the other side. Okay? So Becca says, what does it mean, energetic noise? It sounds like it refers to change that needs to happen. So Becca, to me, energetic noise is basically any frequency that in the present experience that you are in, it doesn't serve you. So for example, if you are trying to be a version of you that is doing specific things, is feeling a specific way, anything that doesn't support, that doesn't align, that doesn't resonate with that frequency, that is noise. Okay? So that's why when you remove the noise, that means that you are, from having all this spectrum, you are focusing into what you truly want. And then that's where you are going to be more aligned, less distracted, less scattered or fragmented. This is like, it's like when you put the radio on, and sometimes you remember when we used to have noise and you had to move the dial. uh, because you were not fully in the frequency that you needed to be to listen to that radio station fully. Now everything is digital, right? And you don't have to do that. But before, I remember having a TV and having a radio where I had to move the knob, and sometimes it just wasn't right, and I was getting noise. So the person was talking, or there was music, but I could receive sometimes another station kind of in the background, or sometimes like a. So by me moving the knob and really tuning into that frequency more, like more strictly, more focused, then I will receive a clearer message. So that's an example. Anything in your life, any experience, any physical object, any any relationship, anything that surrounds you energetically that is not supporting the reality that you want, it's noise. So again, this is not a right or wrong, because you can choose whatever you want. It's just you choosing. If you sit in front of the TV and you want to watch a drama movie, you don't want to watch a comedy. You want to watch a drama, because that's how you feel in that moment. If you sit there tomorrow, maybe you want to watch a documentary and you don't feel like watching a drama. So this is another example of really setting an intention and really focusing on what you truly want. And then begin with low emotion items first. So always, and I talk about this a lot when I talk about the physical decluttering and what I discovered that works best when I'm helping people in their homes. But there is a reason, there is an energetic reason, there is a quantum reason for that. Like if you are forcing a person to make choices about belongings that they are feeling a lot of energy with, a lot of emotional attachment, or a lot of fear, or a lot of sadness or guilt, it's not a good idea to force a person to do that right away. That's why start with the things that are more doable, more accessible. And if you are on a scale of frequency, remember, if you are trying to go from feeling grief or overwhelmed to feeling joy, you are not going to be able to live there in one step. Most likely, you are going to have to work your way up. So you're going to go from being overwhelmed to being frustrated to being etc. And then slowly you are going to work your way up. Sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes you can live in one step, but that's not always the case. Okay? So how are you guys feeling so far? What's happening with you? You have to increase your decluttering muscles. Absolutely, Mel, absolutely. You have to increase your capacity to manage energy, because when you are decluttering, you are managing energy from a quantum perspective, and you are managing emotions, you are managing memories, you are making decisions, you are forcing yourself or inviting yourself to make a decision. And when you are doing that, you are really connecting or trying to connect with, who do I want to be? How do I want to vibrate? What kind of reality do I want for myself now? And all of that is energy, and it can be very draining. Okay, that's why it's important to be aware of this energetic aspect of decluttering and minimalism. Yeah, knowing that we are not alone. Feel a bit more clarity in the massive task of my house. Amazing, Peta. It's difficult to get my head around all the concepts, but I just have to keep moving forward toward my decluttering in my physical environment. Being gentle with ourselves. Yeah, LJ, I like what you say. It's difficult to get my head around all the concepts. It makes total sense. But I just keep moving forward with the decluttering in my physical environment. Again, this is for LJ and for everybody. Follow your excitement. Follow what motivates you the most in every present moment. Quantum physics, the law of attraction, Bouchard, Abraham Hicks, Joe Dispenza, many teachers out there, they share how important it is to first increase your energy and to also connect with what feels most exciting to you, and that is the compass, that is your intuition guiding you into what's next for you. So trust that. And if that is going through the decluttering, physically speaking, then do that. If that is closing the apartment door and going on vacation for a week and then coming back, do that. If that is inviting someone to help you, do that. Trust your gut, trust your instinct, trust your intuition in what you need next. And sometimes don't double guess yourself. Just follow what feels true to you in every moment. And that will be the journey for you. Okay, let me see what else do I have here, because so I have 3 things that is what people normally, this is what I hear the most, okay? And let me know if this resonates with you. So when I'm talking about decluttering and becoming a minimalist and getting started in this journey, what I hear mostly is, I don't have time. I don't know how to get started. It's too emotional. It's too overwhelming. And another one is, I inherited a lot of stuff that is not even mine, and I don't know what to do with it, and it's very emotional. So those are 3 of the things. Fear of scarcity, it's another one. Being afraid of needing that thing, or being afraid of letting go because deep down you don't trust that the universe has your back. You don't trust that things won't come to you when you need them, so you have to hold on to them. We all do that. But that's actually fear. And then fear of changing, fear of the unknown, fear of stepping into a version of you that you don't understand. And then you won't know what to do with it. And that makes you feel unsafe, so you stay where you are. And you may use the clutter as an excuse not to show up, because if you declutter, then you have to show up for the next thing, and that's really, really scary and anxiety provoking. So I'm just curious to know if that resonates with you, and if there is any other reason that you find yourself overwhelmed or stuck with. So Becca says, it can be challenging to know what type of reality is wanted and how it will feel. Yeah, Becca, absolutely. That's why sometimes making that choice is so difficult. And if we don't make that choice, and again, we make that choice moment to moment. Many times we feel that we have to choose something for the rest of our lives, and that is not true. If you take it a moment to moment basis, all of a sudden it becomes easier to make a choice. It becomes easier to flow, because you know that you can always change if you want to, and you know that every moment is going to be different, and you can always change what you are doing, what you are feeling, and you don't need to know. You can explore, you can sense what feels exciting, but you don't need to know how it's going to feel. You don't need to know how it's going to unfold. That is the universe's job, to deliver that to you in the best possible way for you. So totally resonates, and energy levels are an issue. Energy levels. Okay, that's another one, Peta. So I don't have the energy, right? And when you say energy, what does that mean? Is that physical energy to actually do the physical work? Is that mental energy that it's difficult to know what you want to align with, and then everything else becomes difficult? What kind of energy are you referring to? Physically and mentally and emotional. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that's really nice. Physically and mentally, and emotional. I haven't got to the core yet why my space gets cluttered over and over again. Yeah. So Nadja, that's a really good curiosity point for you to understand from a quantum perspective, if that's the reflection of what's inside of you. So what do you prefer, right? And what do you want to step into? And what will that version of you do? How will that version of you feel? And again, you don't need to have a whole picture of how that feels, but you can understand that, oh, I would like more calmness. I would like space to put my cup of coffee on the table. Or I would like to wake up to a kitchen that is not full of dishes. Or I would like to open the cabinet and see things clearly and don't have things. I don't know, whatever that is for you, slowly you are going to discover what is that for you, and you are going to start making changes. Physical fatigue and at times emotional and mental too. Yeah. One element for sure you mentioned is the scarcity. Yeah. Yeah, scarcity, absolutely. And many of you are mentioning compassion, are mentioning being patient, are mentioning really honoring your journey. And I want to emphasize that a lot because this is not a race. You don't have to be anywhere at a specific time. We are, from a quantum perspective, we are all doing what we need to be doing every present moment. We are learning what we have to learn, and we don't need to understand why things are happening, but we just have to do the best we can in every moment. And sometimes surrendering to the process of, I am going to be curious about, why do I have clutter? What's happening in me? Why do I feel scattered? Or what do I want to change in me? And maybe you don't have the answer right away, and that's okay. So then accepting the reality of, right now I feel cluttered. Right now I don't have the answer about what is it that I want, but that's going to plant a seed in you to start thinking and reflecting and feeling about that. So what is it that I want? What is it that I want? What is it that I want? And then you can ask the universe for help. Hey, I don't know what I want right now. Can you give me some signs? Can you put me in front of some people? Can you send books my way? Can you bring animals that bring messages? I don't know, however you want to receive that, but you are not alone. Okay, from a quantum perspective, from the law of attraction perspective, everything is connected. We are all connected to the quantum field. We are all interacting with each other all the time. So you are not alone. So let's look at some things at the I am overwhelmed and I don't know how to start. Okay, from a quantum perspective. Overwhelm equals too many old timelines at once. So we're talking, there are too many realities happening all at once, and then you are feeling overwhelmed because you are not committing to something. You are not being clear. Remember, on the radio station, you may have the knob and two stations are coming at the same time, and you have to fine tune what you want to listen to. So it's the same. You have to discover what that is for you and then move the knob. So move your frequency, move your energy levels so that you can connect with what you want. So we did this. Let's look at I don't have the time. Okay? I don't have time. So time expands when energy becomes coherent. Okay? So time expands when energy becomes coherent. How many of you have done an activity that you love and time has changed? Either it slowed down or either it accelerated a lot. It felt like, wow, I can't believe 3 hours went by. I just thought it was 15 minutes. Or wow, I can't believe that it's been only 10 minutes and it feels that I've been here for like 3 hours. How many of you have had that experience? So just think about that. Time expands when energy becomes coherent. Clutter consumes mental bandwidth, emotional bandwidth, and decision bandwidth. So the more clutter you have around you, the more things you have around you that are not really serving the version of you that you want to be right now, the more consumed you're going to feel. Because remember, things are energy. So the more energy you have around you that is not resonant with what you want, the more difficult it's going to be for you to resonate at the frequency that you want when you are surrounded with so much, when you are attached energetically to so many other things that no longer help you. And then when you declutter, you free future time. So when you declutter, you are saving a lot of time in the future. So when you are doing things, things become easier to do. You need way less energy to do things when you don't have clutter, because it's more intentional, because you have the tools that you need, because you know where they are, because you put them back, and then you understand the system that you have created, right? It's very intentional, it's very aligned, it's very harmonious. It feels good energetically for you to interact with that physical space, to interact with those belongings, because you have created a harmonious relationship with them. Okay, and then let's look at it's too emotional. Okay, I get this a lot, especially people who their parents have passed away and they have inherited a lot of things. They have a really hard time, and it makes total sense. It's just very emotional. So the quantum perspective about it's too emotional. Why is this happening? So emotional items hold past identity states. So emotional items are holding a past identity, a past version of you, something from another reality from the past that is just no longer who you are now. Touching them, so touching those items that are emotional, activates all emotional patterns and memories. So remember, if everything is energy and you have energetic things around you that belong to a past identity, to a past life, to a different reality, a different version of you, when you touch those items, you are connecting energetically with all that stuff again. So you have to do the work of remembering, managing that energy from that past memory. Maybe there is some guilt, maybe there is some sadness, maybe there is some whatever. And then every time you touch that item, you are gonna, again, go over and over that energetic process. So when you declutter, you do the work once, and then hopefully you release the energy that you no longer need. And you release it with gratitude, with love, and then it just lives your life. And it's not there attached to you anymore. So very important, right? So you are not decluttering the object. You are decluttering the version of you attached to that object. So this is really powerful stuff, guys. So you are not decluttering the item. You are decluttering the version of you that is attached to that item. Okay? So imagine that, and I've seen this example so many times. Normally, Christmas time, New Year's, people do a New Year's resolution. They want to work out. They spend a lot of money getting a machine or creating a gym in their home. They create the gym, they put the energy in there, and then the reality hits, January comes, February comes, and they don't follow through. So that identity that they created of the person working out in their gym, in their home, doesn't exist. So every time they go to the basement, what do you think happens? Because they didn't let go of the machine. They didn't get aligned with, do I want to do that or do I don't want to do that? Did I learn that I prefer to go to the gym rather than stay at home? Or maybe I didn't make enough time and I'm going to give it another try. So if you don't get aligned with what you want, that thing is going to be haunting you every single day. Every single time you go to the basement, you are going to be attached to those emotions. Normally guilt. Oh my God, I spent so much money on that machine. Oh my God, I'm such a failure because I'm not working out there. And etc., etc. So how is that helping you? And again, this is always a decision. There is not a right or wrong approach here. It's always your choice. But you have to become clear about, what do I choose? And some people buy the machine and they don't care and it doesn't bother them and it stays there for 30 years and they don't care. So in that case, they clearly didn't have a problem with that. They moved on with other things and it wasn't in their journey to deal with that. But they didn't have the experience of that energetic connection. But some people do. So yeah, it's very deep stuff. And you really look at the decluttering process from a very different perspective. Okay, very different perspective. So this is not item work. This is not decluttering work. This is really identity work. This is really connecting with what version of me am I choosing to be now, and now, and now, and now. And this is going to keep changing. So you have to let go of the idea that you're going to create a person, an identity, and it's going to stay forever for your life. It's not going to happen. It's just, from a quantum perspective, everything is changing all the time. You are changing all the time. Everything is changing all the time. The only thing that is guaranteed is change. So accepting that as best as we can help alleviate a lot of these emotions. And then let's look, we have a few minutes left. Let's look at the quantum perspective of when you have emotional items that you have normally inherited from family members, because it's very interesting. So inherited objects hold ancestral energy, duty, guilt, grief, roles. So you are not responsible for holding the past. Releasing inherited items can be generational healing. So this is connecting with the idea of generational trauma, generational conditioning. There is a science that is called epigenetics, and it's proven that we are passed through our genes lots of energetic patterns, trauma, lots of experiences, pain. It's passed through our genes, and we experience things that are not ours. And this is talking about that. Okay? So you can honor someone without keeping their possessions. So there is really a strong connection sometimes with us letting go of the physical object, with us letting go of a piece of that person that we love. And then that's an energy attachment that most likely is holding you back. And it's creating a lot of energetic in the form of strong emotions in you. And that's something that maybe you can benefit from letting go of. And that is part of your minimalist journey. That's part of your decluttering journey. That's part of this energetic realignment of you discovering who you truly are, who you are choosing to be, and then letting go of the rest with love and compassion, understanding that this is no longer mine. This is no longer me. And I know it's going to be there always. The universe is abundant and everything exists here and now. So you are not really letting go of anything. When you look at this from this perspective, you are not letting go of anything. You are just changing what you are focusing on. And you just don't look at that anymore. But that's still there. Remember, everything exists here and now. So it's a very different perspective of us having to let go of something. What we are truly doing is like we are energetically disconnecting from that thing and connecting with something that feels better for us. Okay? So fear of identity change. If we look at this from this identity point of view, like who am I without all of this? Minimalism can threaten all self-concepts, and every object you release frees an identity that you no longer need. So lots of things to think about, guys, here. We are almost at the end of our time. But I hope that this session, I hope that I shared some stuff that planted some seeds, made you reflect. I hope that you can look at your life, at the situations and experiences that you are going through, and I hope that you can detach from them, and I hope that you can see them from this energetic quantum point of view, and I hope that you can really focus on you, focus on how you feel, focus on gaining clarity about how you want to be, what's important, what's not important, what you want more of in your life. Use what you don't like to create the contrast to really help you gain the clarity, and then go full on synchronizing just with what you want, and forget about the rest. Don't give it any of your attention, because you're going to give it energy. If you are thinking about it, if you are trying to avoid it, if you are doing anything, you are giving it attention and energy, and you are still connected to that thing energetically. So I hope that this is helping you, look at minimalism from a different perspective, look at decluttering from a different perspective, and use this energetic approach so that you can move forward in your life in a more aligned and harmonious way. So guys, thank you so much for being here as always. If you have any questions, I'm sure you had thousands, but I couldn't answer all of them here. Make sure that you share them. You can share them in my Insight Timer circle. You can share them if you are listening on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you are listening to. You can share your questions there and I will try my best to answer them. But yeah, reflect about these things and then see what comes up for you and then see what's next for you. And as always, if you found value in this session and you can support me with a donation, I will really appreciate it and I will receive it with love. And I hope to see you guys next week. That the next session, I think, is going to be quantum self-care. So we are going to look at quantum self-care. Self-care from this quantum perspective, this energetic perspective. And we're going to dive into lots of things that are going to help you in every other area of your life, because self-care, as I mentioned, starting working with your energy, with how you are vibrating, it's the center of everything. Once you change that inside of you, you are going to connect with something different outside of you, and everything else is going to be a reflection of that. So quantum self-care is so, so important, and I can't wait to share about that next week. So I hope that you can join. So guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next week.